So these are the tensiomet devices, one by one. This is the most complicated, and we call them the flagship of tensiomet, is the arteriograph. Arteriograph measure the complex arterial function, including pulse rate velocity, augmentation index, and central systolic blood pressure. Arteriograph 24 is the Holter version of the arteriograph. So it also measures the complex arterial function parameters, but for 24 hours. A simplified version of the arteriograph 24 is the Tensioday Plus. This is actually in between a simple ambulatory blood pressure device and the arteriograph device, because it also measures 24-hour the blood pressure, but with the addition of central systolic blood pressure. And the simplest of all is the 24-hour blood pressure device of ours called the Tensioday. So it only measures the peripheral blood pressure, systolic, diastolic, mean arterial pressures, nothing else. So this is from simplest to the most complex device. Let me show you how I install the Arteriograph 24 device. Firstly, by putting in the batteries. Take care about the polarity of the batteries, but these are indicated here in the case. Once you finish, you can put back the lid. It shows the actual voltage, and if it switches back to the actual date and hour, then the operation is good. So now it's 11 o'clock 55 minutes. So that's correct. That's how you set up the device. Usually with the 24-hour versions, you don't have to manually program it. You can manually program it, but usually we program it through the computer, because that's the most easiest way to do that. Just one more addition. Arteriograph is a one-time measurement. With arteriograph, we measure the patients in supine position, so in lay-down position, only once. You can repeat it, but with Arteriograph 24, it will automatically repeat the measurements for 24 hours. So the difference is the very same as with the simple blood pressure measurement unit compared to a 24-hour blood pressure measurement unit, but here we are talking about arterial function, not just blood pressure measurement. Okay, let me show you how I connect the device to the computer, but first of all, let me show you the accessories. The accessories for the 24-hour units are three different sizes of cuffs. This is the standard cuff with the number 2, and this is the pouch that you can attach to the waist of the patient. So this is the pouch of the 24-hour devices with the common accessory of the cuff. So that's it, that's the whole package and the whole system that you will get along with the software I would just like to show you. To connect the devices to the computer, you have to add the Bluetooth device. So go to the Bluetooth icons field, right click and select adding a Bluetooth device. So this is adding Bluetooth device. Here you can see that an arteriograph is already added, but now we would like to add an arteriograph 24. So I select add. You have to select that the device is ready for recognition. Next. Now the computer searches for all the Bluetooth devices in the vicinity of this computer. It can take some time. There you go. This is the Arteriograph 24 that we would like to pair double click here and you can select that I would like to add the attachment code of the device, which is 4 times 0. You can just click next and everything else will happen automatically. Now the device is added to the computer with 2 different communication ports open, 77 and 87. Now you can click finish and the wizard have attached the Arterial Graph 24 device. You can skip it by pressing OK. So that was the trick how to add the Bluetooth device to the computer. Now we can start the Holter program, which is called TensioWin. Double click, and if you have users already defined, like I do here, you can enter with that user. You can see the build-up of the software. So the first step is the list of already added patients. Second step is how to program and retrieve data from the device. And the third step is the evaluation or the analysis of the results. So let me show you how I define a new patient. That patient would be me. So I press Task Ferenc here with my date of birth, with my height, weight, and ugulum symphysis distance. Ugulum symphysis distance is very important if we are talking about arterial graph measurements. This is the distance that is a very good estimation of the entire aorta length. For that, you have to measure the distance between suprasternal notch, so the upper edge of the sternal notch, to the upper edge of the pubic bone. You have to palpate it. You have to measure a straight distance. And by that, I mean with obese patients, you should avoid measuring on the body surface because that can give you an overestimation. Try to measure it in a straight line as much as possible. If you measure me, I would have a ugulum symphysis distance of 51 centimeters. Arm circumference is mandatory to be given here because that is the basis of the good cuff size selection. My arm circumference is 29 centimeters, so the suggested cuff type automatically is number 2. That's what we have here. Press here my ID number, and you can see that I could add different contact details here. I could add some baseline information, including referring diagnosis, family history, baseline symptoms, etc., etc. I could give here medication, like if I would take, for example, aspirin and the frequency. And click OK. There you go. You will have a new medication in the list of medications. If you would like to, you can enclose the office blood pressure here, but these are not mandatory things. So now I press OK, and I have this new patient selected as the default patient. Now all I have to do is to program the device. So I go to the second step, which is set up protocol and program device. I would like to add a very standard measurement. Usually we prefer standard one, which means that every 15 minutes in the daytime a measurement is performed, and in the night time every 30 minutes, so half an hour. I selected this, but still I can change the different settings. So for one instance, I can add that I don't want a frequency of 15 but 20 minutes for the awake or daytime section, and for the asleep or nighttime section I would like to change it to 40 minutes. So you have the opportunity to change the settings for one instance. You can also add a special interval, like for example, you know that the client would be on an aerobic course from 4 to 5, you can set up a special interval. In my case, I will not select it. Okay, that was the first step of the programming, and as a second step, I have to choose which device I would like to program, and that is an Arterial 24. Here I can set the offset level, which means that the so-called suprasystolic level on which the Arterial 24 device measures on should be how much above the measured systole. Now it's 40 mercury millimeters, meaning that every time a suprasystolic measurement is performed, it will be performed on the latest measured systole plus 40 mercury millimeters. This is the default setting. Usually you don't have to change it. Now a very important step is to select the communication port on which you would like to communicate on. For that, just let's go back to the Bluetooth devices, double click, select Arterial 24, double click it, or select properties, go to services, and it will show you that it is attached to COM77. So let's select 77 here. Or you can explore the COM ports, but it can take some time.